About the Nashville Film Festival. It starts next week. 300 movies are going to be playing here in Nashville at a new location at Regal 27. We have with us the artistic director, Brian Owens. Opening night.
Yes.
So that's a week. That's Thursday night.
Right, a week from Thursday.
A week from, this is Tuesday, so next week, next Thursday, a week from this coming Thursday. All right, what's going to happen on opening night?
On opening night, we have a few selections. It's not as extensive as it will be on other nights because we like to get everybody prepped and focused, but we've got 2 sets of short films that were made by Tennessee filmmakers, many from the Nashville area, but from all around the state. And then our highlight film that evening is a narrative feature called The Hero. It is starring Sam Elliott, Laura Prepon, Nick Offerman, and it's directed by a young man named Brett Haley. And a couple years ago, he was here with the film I'll See You in My Dreams that starred Blythe Danner. It was a big hit for us, and then it turned out to be a surprise hit on the independent circuit that summer. And I think this one's going to do the same thing. It's a wonderful performance by Sam Elliott, great supporting performance by Nick Offerman. I'm going to tell you right now, Independent Spirit Awards at the end of the year, Nick Offerman will be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Just saying it.
Okay. Okay.
I tend to be pretty good with those things. I don't always get them right, but I predict that will happen. It's a really, it's an enjoyable. Largely comedy, but there's some definitely some drama in there as well. Sam Elliott plays a once famous Western actor who's given a near life-ending diagnosis, who tries to get his life right with his daughter before the time comes. But again, not as heavy as that might sound, because there's some really good comedy in it.
And this is one of those movies, and opening night you try and do this, that's going to be, you'll see that potentially in release later on,
yeah.
Right? We're going to see that in full release.
Yeah, it will come back.
Some of these movies, that's not the case.
True.
Some of the movies, you'll see them, you know, maybe HBO will pick them up, some of the documentaries, whatever. Some, you'll never get a chance to see them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, eventually maybe Netflix, but there are some rarities that pretty much come into town, and that's the chance you get, and that's it.
Right, right. Another one that's going to be that night is a documentary, right? Is it Chasing Evil?
Chasing Evil,
okay.
The Robbie Knievel story. So if anybody is a fan of, you know, stunt jumping, this is the movie for you. You know, when we were discussing things earlier, you know, like there's so much in that film that was from my childhood, but that I'd kind of forgotten about. And it's a really well-crafted documentary that I strongly recommend. And the nice part is that I do want to let people know that, you know, if 2 movies that you like should conflict, definitely check out the schedule, because if you can't see Chasing Evil that night, it does come back the next day. So there's usually a minimum of 2 opportunities. Every now and again, something like The Hero, where I am contracted with a studio, you are only going to get 1 shot at the festival. But like I said, Chasing Evil, if it's conflicting against something else you really want to see on opening night, then you know it's going to come back again tomorrow. So there's another chance to see it.
That is a great documentary that I had the chance to see, and it just, it's like a trip down memory lane. I mean, Evel Knievel made all these jumps, and apparently, you know, maybe he's not such a nice guy. And then his son is trying to live up to his father, and it's just a fascinating documentary. Shows, you know, I didn't realize how big his son was. As you said, he got to be really big, but always trying to live up to his father. Great documentary. Yeah. That's a really good one. All right, so some others we want to talk about. Axis. Now, when is, all right, so we have a clip for that, but we're just going to talk about it underneath. Kind of what do we need to know about that?
Well, Axis is actually going to play later in the festival, the 2nd Friday, and we actually arranged that into the schedule around the schedule of the director. It's directed by Aisha Tyler, who people may know from a few TV shows. I know her best as the voice of Lana Kane from Archer, because that's like my favorite animated TV show, out of so many. But you know, she's coming in person to present the film along with the lead actor Emmett Hughes, who we see here in this clip. Basically, he plays a young Irish actor who is about to get his first major Hollywood blockbuster, but on his way to set, gets some news that sends his life into a tailspin. And you know, debut director, young screenwriter, I think it's actually his debut feature screenplay, and he's also the lead actor, Emmett, here. They took on having a single actor on camera. Like, he is the only character that appears on camera the entire time.
Wow, okay.
The rest of the characters, and there's some famous names in that, appear only as voices on the phone during that fateful day. It's a really fascinating, intense movie. And again, Aisha Tyler as making her directorial debut. You know, she's already a multi-hyphenate: talk show, Criminal Minds.
She's on Criminal Minds.
Voiceover, actor,
okay,
yeah. And so she just adds now director to the multi-hyphenate that she already is.
So she will be, and that's a week from the next Friday. It's the second Friday of the festival.
Second Friday of the festival, so the 28th.
Okay.
And she'll be there in person to present it. And
see, I love to hear that they're going to be there.
Yeah,
when I hear that, that always moves it way up in my list.
Oh yeah, and I will plug this too. Like, I've worked with a lot of celebrities over the years in this job, and she and her assistant are two of the friendliest and easiest to get along with people that I've worked with.
See, I'll be fascinated to hear those stories. Some of the ones that are not easy to get along with.
Yeah, well, I can't really do those on this show.
No, I know. But I bet, because you are. I mean, every one of these movies, you're trying to get the star here or the director here. How difficult is that?
Oh, it's I mean, it's like juggling 300 cats. I mean, and a lot of times, and I say this with all respect, a lot of times people will think they're the only ones and kind of forget that there's also 299 other movies to work with. But it all ends up working out, and the vast majority of people are super friendly, and we all get along really well. But you still have so many irons in the fire that you got to make sure that you get everybody taken care of.
The red carpet's every night at 5 o'clock. And the red carpet meaning there'll be somebody associated with those films that's kind of walking down, a chance to do media interviews, whatever.
And I always remind people that if you don't recognize a name, don't necessarily poo-poo it or not go and get a fan picture real quick. It was 2012, so 5 years ago, that we had a young woman named Brie Larson on our red carpet, and very few people knew who she was.
Really?
So that happens from time to time.
Wow.
So don't miss out. Just don't assume that, like, I don't know who that is, that they're not going to be someone whom you will know in the future.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson was here
Academy
in
Award
2012.
winner.
Right.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. The Road Movie.
This is one of the most fascinating documentaries I think that you're going to see at the festival. It is only 67 minutes. We have a preceding short film that will take the program to 90 minutes. But it is nothing but dash cam footage from Russian drivers, edited together by the director to sort of tell this very strange tale about Russia. But what we're seeing here is someone driving through a forest fire. Remember the meteor shower that happened in southern Russia a few years ago? That shows up in the film. But all the footage comes via dashboard cams. And Russian life is so corrupt that to save themselves if there's a wreck for insurance, and also from corrupt police officers, almost every driver in Russia has a dashboard camera.
I remember hearing that when we saw the meteor, because it was an amazing video of it coming straight down.
And so this guy has put all of this footage together, and it is, see, this is like terrifying. It is, right.
Oh my God.
And look, it flies out, but he's okay. I mean, and so you catch these stories that could only be captured that way. It's a really fascinating film. I've never seen anything like it. And I'll tell you, one of the systems that I'll use when I'm watching films to put the final program together is I'll go in 20-minute blocks. I'll watch 20. I'm like, if I'm still interested, then I'm going to move on to the next one. I'll keep it in the yes pile, and I'll just kind of keep going through. That's what I was going to do with that one, and I went through the whole thing. Like, I couldn't stop watching it. It's hypnotic. It just completely draws you in. And it sounds like, well, how could that possibly work? But it works.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, to give you a second vote of confidence on it, in between us accepting the film, putting it in the program, just recently it's been picked up by a distributor for U.S. distribution down the road. So, obviously we're not the only ones that liked it.
All right, so you have competitions, right? So there's a documentary competition, there's a narrative competition. Is that in the documentary competition?
That is in the documentary competition. It's one of 15 feature films that are competing for the grand jury prize. And the jury there will view the 15 films, and then they'll award the grand jury prize, which is anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 in cash and prizes. Everybody gets $2,000 if you win one of the feature competitions. It's $2,000. If the director's able to attend, we throw a $1,000 bonus to help cover those travel expenses. And then if it's a North American or world premiere, we toss in another $1,000 bonus for North American or world premiering with us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, we have a couple calls here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the calls. Let's go to Lucy. I always love to hear from Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
Hey, y'all. Listen, I have to be honest. I have a hard time getting on and off the toilet anymore, let alone driving to Green Hills. I am so glad that y'all have moved this thing, because the last time that I'll have to be honest, that I went to the film festival is when it was Sinking Creek, and it was at the Surratt Theater at Vanderbilt. And so I'm hoping to get out there now that y'all have moved to 100 Oaks to see it. And the only other thing I want to do is make a comment about little Jim Ridley. I just want to remember him tonight, because, I've talked to him a couple times, like at some of the Working Stiff Jamborees, and he lived for this film festival. And it's a great thing that we have here in Nashville. So y'all keep it up. I hope it's a beyond belief success. All righty?
I appreciate that, Lucy. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And yeah, she mentioned Jim. You know, last year he passed basically right before I came on to this program. I'm gonna get teary-eyed again like I did last year. And you know, we made a pledge then that we're gonna have one seat reserved in every house for Jim, and that will be the case again. There'll be a spot that we're gonna save for Jim.
That was very powerful.
As long as I'm here, there'll always be a seat for Jim at our festival.
That's great. Let's take one more call here. Carrie, I believe. Hello, Carrie.
Hi guys, how are you?
Great, go right ahead.
Okay, so my question is there anything that I should book now and, you know, just that I must see, and then can I wait on the rest so I can take time to look, or can you just make some recommendations on what I need to book today?
I think that's a great question. I'm going to take notes as well, but okay, great question. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, thank you, Carrie, for that call. Yeah, there are a few that already are, and we don't go on sale to the public till 10 a.m. tomorrow, so make sure that you're ready for that. But we've got 3 that I would definitely say, if you want to see them, make sure that you get your tickets soon. On opening night, Tennessee Shorts 1, we're already at about 20%. Is all that's left on that, so those are going to go quickly tomorrow. Also Saturday, there's 2 films. There's a great locally made film called Wild Man. It's got some familiar names, including Kate Upton in it. And it's already down to about 15% left, so those are going to go really quickly. And then finally, also on Saturday night, the documentary May at Last, A Portrait of the Avett Brothers. We've already sold over 100 tickets to that particular screening, but tomorrow morning, right at 10, when the tickets go on sale, they're going to be sending a blast out about the film to the Avett Brothers fan club, the Avett Guild. So we expect those tickets are going to move really quickly. To give you an idea, I already know of someone who's flying in from Denver to see the film, and I've had email requests from both Pittsburgh and Florida asking about how they can buy tickets to that film here at our festival. So
wow.
They've got a very devoted fan base. So if you do want to see that documentary, which is, by the way, directed by Michael Bonfiglio and Judd Apatow, it is a really well-crafted documentary.
And that's also, that's in one of the competitions, right?
That's a non-competition.
Oh, that's a non-competition.
We feel like Judd Apatow doesn't need our couple $1,000 in comparison to some of the other folks. But
there is the music.
Yes, we have the music films, Music City documentaries, but we felt like that one was so big that it's in our special presentation section. And those are non-competition films that have the biggest names around, and you'll get your first look at them at our festival, but they will likely come back. But that one, like I said, it's going to be huge. A couple other no misses that I do think are going to move quickly once word spreads. On Sunday evening, we've got a documentary called Step. It's also a special presentations documentary. It's one of the biggest doc purchases by a studio in the history of Sundance. Fox Searchlight picked it up, and they had huge confidence in it. And it's about a citywide all-girl high school step routine team in Baltimore. But the instructors put this team together obviously because the girls are good at what they do. And step is a type of dance that's very common in the African-American community. You'll frequently see it at African-American fraternities and sororities and colleges. In this case, these are high school girls. But the instructors put it together with the goal of getting all of these girls graduated from high school and into college. So it's incredibly inspirational. There won't be a dry eye in the house, but for good reasons though. But yeah, so I think that one, once word really gets out, is going to move quickly. And then finally, our closing night film, which maybe we'll readdress again later, is another one that I saw at Sundance that I had to have, called Patty Cakes. Instead of an S, it's a $sign. But it's about a young, overweight white female rapper from New Jersey and her aspirations and the people she brings around her to make those aspirations come true. It is funny, it is charming, it's got this really strong girl power message that I absolutely loved. And the music is phenomenal. The whole thing wouldn't work if it were not for the fact that the lead actress is not only a great actress, she's a really good rapper.
Oh yeah.
And it makes the whole thing work. It was the last movie I saw when I was out at Sundance in January, and that's the reason why it's the closing night film at this festival, because I thought it was the perfect note for me to end my festival there, and I think it'll be the perfect note for people to end their festival here.
See, that's great. Okay, great information there, and thank you for that question. We're going to take a break. We'll continue our discussion. Take a break, be back right after this.